Hello, people of the internet. My name is JD Shadow, and this is a story that I looked at, and all of a sudden, I just got a really, let's just say, fire under me because of what this entails. So, for those people who are not knowledgeable and not knowing of anything that's going on in the world, apparently there's sort of a conflict going on in the Middle East. When isn't there? That's the first thing that I want to say. When isn't there something going on in that region that we have to be concerned about? And apparently there are a lot of different opinions that are going out there right now, and I'm not quite sure what I can say. I'm not sure what I should say or if I should say anything because I am not knowledgeable about this situation, and not a lot of people who are on the internet are. Not a lot of people who are living in the United States are even knowledgeable about this even going on and what this entails or what this is all about. That hasn't stopped the usual talking heads on news, media, and social media from telling us we have to pick a side and it has to be the right side or else. And that is infuriating when no one knows exactly what the hell is going on. And some of us would like to have some escapism from all this stuff that's going on, whether it be from the Middle East, whether it be from the coronavirus, whether it be from anything else going on social media right now. We want to have at least a few hours where we'll not have to think about these sort of things. Where we just have to say, you know what, we can make believe that there are big monsters roaming around wanting to blow up the entire world or something like that. We want to have that escapism, even if it's just for a few hours. We don't have to think about this stuff every single moment of every single day, and that gets confused with people saying, oh, we don't have to worry about this stuff at all. That is far and away a different thing from saying we want a few hours of escapism. And that's what people like me and other people who are on YouTube and Twitch are trying to give to you. Of course, I talk about some things that are going on in the world right now, but that is a little bit different from me maybe playing a game or reacting to a show or something like that. But we need a few hours where we're not having to worry about everything that's going on in the world right now. That is called self-care. That's called being able to get out of that for a little bit in order anybody who would consume this at every moment, 24/7, at every moment of every day, is sooner or later going to feel the effects of it. They're going to go absolutely crazy in the head. That's why you see people who end up saying that they don't want all of this shoved in their faces every single time they go to see a movie or play a game or whatever. They just want to play a game. And if they are knowledgeable that you're spoon feeding them all of this social justice stuff or social commentary about what's going on in the world, and they are well aware that you're just inserting in it for the sake of inserting it without any attention to the story you're trying to tell them otherwise, especially if it has nothing to do with the rest of the story, then they're going to just thumb their nose at you and turn the other way. Doesn't mean they don't care about those issues, just says for that few moments they don't want to be force-fed your own opinions about the world in a story that has nothing to do with stuff like what's going on in the Middle East or about the virus or about any sort of other world problem. And that's what people go to Twitch streams and to YouTube videos for, is to have that sort of escapism, to at the very least talk with persons that will be able to say, hey, let's have some fun for a few hours. Apparently Nathan Grayson, and we've all heard of that name, disagrees with this, because this is the story that he posted today on Kotaku. Of course it's Kotaku, and of course it's Nathan Grayson. This is the same guy who believes that we should not have transparency in gaming media when it comes to nepotism and stuff like that. This is the same guy that has gone out of his way many times to not only try to interject his own political mindset into things that it doesn't belong in, but also to engage in not only nepotism in of itself, but to hide the fact that he is even doing that and to label anybody who would to catch him in the act. No, he doesn't believe you should have the right to know whether or not he's covering a game for a friend. Note that I said covering. It doesn't matter whether or not it is a article or a review. So it should be no surprise that he posts this story here, saying as Gaza burns, Twitch charity streams for Palestine remain few and far between. He highlights a few that are doing fundraisers for Palestine children who are getting caught in this whole ordeal, and yes, a lot of loss of life on both sides of the equation are being felt, and hearts go out to them. And yeah, this should not be happening in the first place. There should be more peace and more talks being had, not this sort of violence. I do agree with that. He does, though, highlight Hasan Piker, who, by the way, left the Young Turks, and the only reason why he was even there is because he's Cenk Uyghur's nephew. No other reason, and he was probably one of the most disliked people on that roster of people who were at the Young Turks, as far as the people who usually watch their content were concerned. He was probably the most unqualified person to talk about anything that they were talking about, even though they put him on there regularly. And yes, he's the one that has said a couple of very questionable things. One is about Liana Kurzner, whose tweet of this story, by the way, is the reason why I became aware of this story, why I became aware of this article. But he says that there should be more of Twitch charity streams. And yes, Liana goes into some issues about homophobia between one of those two sides, but I'm not going to get into that in any sort of way because it's not my place and I know nothing about this sort of thing that's going on right now. And that is the major concern here. The first thing that Nathan Grayson has to be well aware of is that we are not his megaphones. If he really wants to do something, he should do it himself. If he really thinks that the charity streams are few and far between, then okay. If that's what a Twitch streamer wants to do, then more power to them. But he should not be forcing people into doing that. Cause, one, they might not know anything about what's going on, so they may not be well equipped to handle talking about anything that's going on there right now. Two, of course, we all know that YouTube and Twitch love to get us for talking about controversial issues, regardless of what side we take. And that is not right. I agree, it's not right. However, you're telling them to not only talk about this issue, not only do a charity stream, but to also pick a side on this conflict. And that is the main problem here. We are being told to pick a side, and we don't even know what the hell's going on, but we're telling people to pick a side anyway. Nathan, what is going on there? IGN recently got caught under fire for putting a Palestine flag next to their logo, and it became such a mistake that they had to come out and not only change it right away to a red cross symbol, but to also put out a statement saying, hey, wait a minute, that was not our intention, that got lost through the cracks, and it was not anything in order to offend anybody. Why? Because they chose to pick a side. It doesn't mean they don't care about this issue. It doesn't mean they don't feel the loss of life, or that they don't feel the concern that's going on. It just means they don't know much about it in order to talk about it or pick a side or do a stream about it. Because then if they so much as talk about the issue, first of all, they put themselves in danger. Even if they don't pick a side, they put themselves in danger by saying the wrong thing. And second of all, they are going to feel forced into doing so, and it's not going to feel genuine. If you really want somebody to do something like this, you have to have them do it in such a way that they feel like they want to do that, that they feel inspired to do that, not because they are forced into it because somebody is going to write an article about it or to block them on Twitter because they didn't do exactly what they wanted them to do or say exactly what they wanted them to say or pick the side they wanted them to pick. You don't see me talk too much about this. This is about the only video I've done about it. This is probably the only video I'm going to do about it because I don't feel as though we should have to pick a side here on YouTube. And yes, I've read the entirety of this article. It goes on and on and on and on. And I needed the TLDR of this because it just did not stop talking about it. Now there comes some time where I feel like I have something I can say to it, then yes, I will say something about it. But I'm not going to do something because I feel forced into it. And that goes for any content I have on this channel. I'm going to do the content that I feel as though I want to do, not because I'm forced into it. I've never felt that I was forced into doing content I didn't want to do. My opinions are ones that I truly do hold. It's not because I feel forced into saying something about whatever it might be with mass debates and stuff like that on YouTube, it's not because somebody's telling me, hey, you have to hold this opinion, nor for us to give you a sponsorship deal. I don't get any sponsorship deals. I'm not a big enough YouTuber in order to get those types of things. But if I did get those types of things, I'm going to take those that tell me that I could do the content that I want to do. I am not going to compromise myself because somebody in a company or somebody who's posting an article on Kotaku is telling me I have to do it. And here's the other thing. This is escapism. For a couple of hours, we are one of the same. We are all together. We are all conclusive. We are all inclusive. A common thread bonds us all together, regardless of who we are, regardless of who we are as people, whether it be religious or orientation or race or gender. We are all one race, which is the human race, and we all come together on a common thread, which is gaming, being together, being with friends, talking, laughing, doing all that stuff that we can get our minds off of the problems that we face as a normal everyday person for a few hours. That we can tell people, hey, there is a place you belong. And you don't have to worry about somebody thinking that you are too weak to stand up for yourself, that you are any less of a person because you are a different race or creed or something like that. But hey, we would like to know more about you. We may ask a question because we want to know more about you if you are quote unquote different. Not because we're scared of you, but because we find that rather interesting. And for those few hours, there is no problem in the world. There is no outlining hatred that goes on. For those few hours, there is nothing that is stopping people from being together. And we wish that more people would see that. And shoving stuff like this into people's faces in areas where it doesn't need to be for a few hours is just not helping at all. But all that Nathan is trying to do here is to figure out who's on his side. Remember, this is a guy who is known for stuff like this, who's known to try to get people to show that they're on the right side of him or the wrong side of him. This is not the first time he's done this, and it probably won't be the last time he does this either. If there is somebody who is on Twitch that wants to do something like that, do a charity stream for any part of this whole ordeal that's going on in order to stop this violence and stop this hatred and to help those people who are being the most affected by what's going on right now, whether it be one side or the other, then they should feel compelled to do that, and they shouldn't feel forced to do that. And they shouldn't be forced into not doing that because, oh my god, they might be on the wrong side of things. There is no wrong or right side. Violence is violence. Hatred is hatred, regardless of who it's coming from. War is hell. There's a reason why we say that. Hopefully you liked this video. If you did, please share it, comment on what you think about it. Am I wrong? Am I right? Also, please hit the bell and subscribe for more Geek Gaming Culture. And if you are somebody who wants to do something good, then you should feel compelled and should feel wanting to do that. And sometimes all you have to do is help is to give some people those few hours of escapism. I'm JD Shadow, and that just happened.